Welcome back to Dom's Corner, everybody. I am your host, Dom Martino, and we're going to talk about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 today. Very excited to do that. Should be a lot of fun. We've been going through all the Harry Potter films, and here we are, finally, getting toward the end, so this should be an awesome conversation. Guys, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications if you want to see more content just like this. Thank you again for joining. Very much been loving these discussions. Rewatched this film today, and we're gonna get right into it. And by we, I mean that I am not the only one here today. Of course, I do have my co-hosts with me here today who have been here with me through every Harry Potter discussion, starting with Miss Samee Ramirez. Samee, how you doing today?
Hello, happy to be here.
Good.
Doing good.
Good. Glad to hear that. Are you excited to talk about Harry Potter? We're getting at the end. We're getting toward the end.
Is that even a question? Of course, I'm excited to talk about Harry Potter. This one specifically, I mean, we'll get into it. I love this movie, you guys. Like, this is one of my favorites. This is one of the best movies.
Awesome. I'm pumped as well. And then also with me today, I do have Mr. Adam Leach. Adam, how you doing today?
I am excellent. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for asking. I'm excited to talk about some Harry Potter. So let's talk about the Deathly Hallows. Let's get into our experiences with it. When it first came out, I remember going to see this with my ex-girlfriend. I think it's the first one that her and I were able to see together because, we weren't together when the other ones had come out. And, I just remember this one being like an excellent time. I remember really loving the film. I remember being actually more than loving it, being blown away from it. And I do remember this book coming out. Now, what was really cool about the book is when I read it closer to the release of this film. I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I never actually got to finish the book prior to the film coming out. So the spot where it actually, like, I had actually finished it was literally right where this part 1 ended. So I was like, yes, now I have time to finish it before part 2. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention after rewatching it today, Samee, you might kill me for this. I never realized that Domhnall Gleeson is Bill Weasley. Like, I never realized that he played him. Wow. And I watched that today. I was like, that's fucking Domhnall Gleeson. I never really realized that before, but pretty cool. But yeah, Adam, we always kind of start with you on this. You rewatched the film today. How do you feel about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 after rewatching it?
I love it. I'm stoked. Like this, I think so far this probably takes it as my favorite one. As anticipated, I feel like I might like the second part even more when we get to it, but we'll see. I don't know. I really liked part 1 this time around. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think I went to the premiere of this one. I know for a fact I went to the premiere of the second one, but I think I also went to the premiere of this one. I remember it being extremely exciting. And this movie was it had a lot more exciting moments and more action in it than I even remembered watching it the previous time, which
Right.
I only watched it like a year ago. But for some reason, when I watched this, I was like, wow, this movie was way more exciting than I remembered. So yeah, I had a good time watching it this time.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I remember feeling the same as you in the sense that, like, I think I liked it more than I remembered liking it. And I think that stepping away from this one, I feel like maybe even the longest for whatever reason. Like, I feel like for some reason, this is the one I've spent the most amount of time not watching throughout my years, for whatever reason. Maybe it's because it's kind of that thing where it's like, it's almost like the beginning of the end, and I don't really want to see that because there's a bittersweet thing to that. But on the same hand, rewatching it today, yes, I remember. I mean, I liked it more than I remembered liking it, just like you. So, Samee, upon rewatch, how do you feel about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1?
Oh, upon rewatch, I feel the way that I have felt every single time I watch this movie. I've always been a real champion for this movie. I've always loved it. I think it's really incredible. I've said numerous times that my favorite thing on this earth is when characters I love have a moment to breathe and just kind of be themselves. and have the story play out, which is what this movie is. Where, because the biggest criticism I hear about it is that it's the filler movie, that it's just all the plot to get us to the end, which it is, but that's why I love it. That is the precise reason why I love this movie so much. I remember I saw it. I don't think I saw it the day it came out, but I want to say maybe like the Friday night or Saturday night it came out. But I saw it with my mom and my brother, and I remember we all just loved it, had the best time with it, and it brings back a lot, and it brings back a lot of nostalgia for me. That again is part of it. But again, on the rewatch, there's so many wonderful character moments that happen and that add to the entirety of the plot without being in the traditional way we see a Harry Potter movie. Because usually, it's like there's a problem or a mystery, and the whole time we're figuring it out, but also Voldemort is looming over. Versus this movie is completely just, we're kind of sitting with the characters, but we are still having important things happen. It's just, I think it's my second favorite of the entire series, honestly. And again, I say that waiting on watching the second one again, but it's always pretty much been my second or third favorite.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you are correct in the sense that this is a very different Harry Potter film in every single way. Like, you still have David Yates' incredible direction on it, but I think, like, once we're, kind of past the opening stuff, you realize pretty quickly that this is going to be different in every single kind of way. And I like the fact that, this was something that was able to be split in two parts, mostly because you could tell that David Yates was like, okay, I am actually going to make a film, and this has room to breathe. I don't have to rush through anything, and it shows, and I like that, and it feels more fleshed out. I'm with Adam. This is the best one so far that we've talked about. I think that this movie is just 100% incredible. It feels like a film, like an actual film, and not something that's like adapted. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
When I watched it, I was thinking, this is a movie. Like, this is a film. Not that the others weren't films,
right?
But yes, that's the perfect word for it. It felt like this is cinema right here. I feel like this movie has the best pacing of all of them
100%.
because nothing has to be rushed, because they took one book, they split it in two, and they gave it the proper time. So everything feels really organic. I feel like I'm watching a really quality movie.
Yeah. And like, that's no fault to any of the other filmmakers because who've worked on it, or any of the other films. It's of course they're trying to adapt, but
they've just never had that much time. They've never had this much time.
Right.
Is the thing.
Yeah, it's just it's to me it's a thing of just, like Sammy was saying, they didn't have that time. It didn't feel fleshed out. It didn't feel like it had room to breathe. And we have to be honest here when reviewing this, at least Adam and myself feel this way, that this is the best one. Like, it plays the best of all of them. I much like Sammy too, to her point, like, I just enjoy the fact that, we get character moments, like we have time for them to just talk about whatever some of the times, you know what I mean? Like, it's not always like the most story driven of the films, but it's always like it's some of the most character driven, if that makes sense, because there are so many times where they'll be sitting around, like they'll be playing the piano or just things like that. They'll be dancing around a tent. I love those little tiny moments that we got to have here, which we didn't get to have in the other films themselves. But let's start right from the beginning, because from the beginning, the score is great. This is the one that Alexandre Desplat did, right? So he
did both parts.
Okay, so wonderful. So Alexandre Desplat's score already sets like a whole new tone for this thing. I really like it. But one of the cool things about this film in general, as we move throughout it, is the fact that we do get a lot of silent, very raw and real moments as well. We don't always need Alexandre's score there to support it. And I like the fact that he uses the score when necessary. And this beginning is when it was necessary for me, and it comes in with such a strong opening. I love Harry. You feel the stakes immediately. Harry, Ron, Hermione are all like, just, I mean, they're not going back to school. And we knew that was going to be the case. And they're ready to go on this, like, high, intense type of adventure. You know, they have to move Harry over to the burrow. That's just a big deal alone because everybody and their damn grandmother's looking for Harry, and there's really nothing else to it. I mean, just seeing the fact that Hermione had to like disappear herself from her parents is like a huge deal. It was really dramatic to watch. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it except just you feel the stakes from the beginning. And, you know, Harry even saying goodbye to the Dursleys, and Samee was even talking about this. There was a deleted scene that should have
Oh
been
boy,
left in
is
the
there.
film. Do you want to tell about that deleted scene there,
Oh,
Samee?
sure. So there's a deleted scene that I will never forgive David Yates for cutting out of this movie because it's perfect. Where it starts with Petunia, Harry's aunt, just standing in the living room of the house,
Right.
just kind of taking it in because they're about to move. And Harry comes in and he's like, "You have to get out of here. They'll come for you." And Petunia says, "You know, you didn't just lose a mother that day at Godric's Hollow. I also lost a sister." And then just leaves the room and walks out. But then it continues, and Harry and Vernon, Mr. Dursley, have like this whole interaction, and he's like, "Why? I'm just wasted space. Am I right, Vernon?" And they kind of walk away. But then Dudley looks back for a moment, looks at Harry, walks back up to him, shakes his hand, and I forget exactly what he says, but he says something like "You were all right, Harry." And then Harry goes see a big D, and then they walk away, and it was again like cinema that
Yeah.
like I just can't think of a better, but it's just I can't believe they cut that out because Harry's relationship to the Dursleys has been such, especially for that to be at the beginning of the film. It's always the very beginning of the film we have our Dursley moment. To not have a concluding true emotional complete conclusion to that, I will never forgive him for not doing that. It's an incredible deleted scene. It's on YouTube. You must watch it if you haven't.
I've never seen that, and
It's so
now that
good. You
you
have to.
are telling me about it, that is kind of disappointing that it isn't in the movie. It's one of those things that I guess you don't miss it if you don't know it existed.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you know it exists, it's like, well, yeah, that would be excellent to see some type of closure, some type of
Yeah.
conclusion with this family that he's been living with that we have kind of gotten to know to some degree. Because when you're watching the movie, you're just, if you don't know anything about the book, at least you're watching the movie thinking, well,
You know the
why are
Dursleys,
they
though.
moving?
Yeah.
Like, why are they moving? And what is their relationship with Harry at this point? Like, what's going on? So it does feel like you're kind of in the dark a little bit.
It
But
feels like the rule of thumb for all these films and like what Warner Brothers had told all their filmmakers was basically like, when in doubt, cut the Dursleys, because like anytime they seem to need to make like runtime changes for runtime, that seems to be the thing, like the go-to cutout, But I don't know why that is. I do kind of wish the movie or this scene was in the film, and I remember reading that in the book and being like, that's really good closure as well. So yeah, it's cool to know that they shot that scene. I do, however, enjoy the fact that like we do see Harry as they're taking off at the very least, kind of like with a little bit of a bittersweet look on his face there
And
the
I
moment,
like
and
I
it's
like
pretty
how
cool.
he like goes into the cupboard one last time and plays, with
Yeah.
like the horses.
Yeah.
Like that is a part that's they're hinting at that.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
Yeah.
There was hints of it.
Like, man, I hate the Dursleys, but it's better than the shit I gotta go through
But
now,
like
essentially.
but it's sad to
Right.
leave this place to know that you were never gonna come back here. And
Yeah.
this is where he spent a large chunk of his life,
100%. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I think that, it's kind of conflicting, right? As the audience member for the story, like, it's like, man, how would I feel? Because, like, I did spend a good portion of my life here, despite all the shit I had to go through with the Dursleys. I did have to. I mean, they did take me in at the end of the day, and they did give me some kind of a home. So, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of those conflicting things in your head as an audience member. But we go from that, and then we, pretty much go quickly into like, the Mad Eye and all the Weasley kids except for Ginny and obviously Percy wasn't invited to this little thing here. And Charlie, we never met Charlie in any of the films.
They just
think.
cut him. They
Yeah.
cut Charlie straight up.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever met him in any of the films, have we, Samee?
I think they straight up just cut him. I don't think we've ever seen him now.
He's been mentioned in the films, but I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't think
Maybe,
we have ever
yeah.
seen him.
He's the one though. He like in the books, he lives in like Armenia or somewhere training
Yeah.
dragons. So
Yeah.
that's like the excuse. Like he was just over there the whole
Right,
time.
right, exactly. But either way, this is like I said, I didn't realize Donald Gleason played Bill, but I pretty cool. So we get this scene, and they're basically telling Harry, we're gonna go. We're all gonna take some polyjuice potion, look like you. And Harry he's not into that idea. He's like, I'm gonna call this off right now, and that's I don't blame him for that. He doesn't want anybody risking their lives any more than they need to.
That line is so funny though, when then Fred and George are like, or no, Ron goes like, yeah, because we've never done that before, have we? Harry's like, no one's gonna risk their lives for me, and Ron's like because we've never done that before, right?
Right, yeah.
Love that
It's
line,
kind of
yeah.
it's a very like self-aware type callback to like the other films, which I really enjoyed. And I the jokes of Fred and George are pretty good here, where they're what
We're
they say.
identical.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he say? Something to Mad Eye as well, where he's like, just trying to ease the tension. I like that.
Oh yeah, Mad Eye's like, it tastes like, what do you say, goblin piss?
Yeah.
And Fred or George is like, because you like
Oh,
had a lot
right.
of experience with
Yeah,
that, haven't you, Mad Eye?
basically you'd be familiar
Yeah.
with that, Mad Eye. And he's like,
Right.
just trying to ease the tension.
Ease the tension.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we get they basically all take this potion, and who says somebody look away, I'm hideous. That was a good one too. But
Fleur.
right. Bill, look
Yeah.
away, I'm hideous.
Bill, look away, I'm hideous.
It's good lines in this moment.
I
right?
love that, by the way, too, because like Daniel Radcliffe literally, that wasn't CGI. He literally like filmed that scene that many times and was in costume that many times. Like, I love.
It's dedication. It's dedication for sure. I also like the fact that we're I don't know, it's almost like a reunion of some of our favorites, but also
it really is.
Finally their kind of way of
the
like,
hits.
Yeah, and their
Totally.
way of being like, sorry we didn't introduce you to Bill all these years, but here he is. But I like
sorry we let Tonks and Lupin have their love story off screen, but they are together.
Right.
Just so you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like all of that.
Yeah. For sure, and it's pretty cool to see the sort of reunion once again, and when they're flying out, this stuff is super intense. I mean, we get our first death, like the big major death happens when they're flying out and stuff. I mean, we get to see the Hedwig death here, very tragic, but the visuals, wow, like were incredible, like the part where like Voldemort flew up next to him and they did the wand thing. I was like, holy cow, that is sick. And then I like when they go down, they go down into the burrow. They're in that little creek type area or what, pond, I guess you would say. And then I like the look that something about Hagrid just being drenched as they got down there was pretty funny. But yeah,
he looks like a wet cat.
He does look like
He
a
did
wet
look
cat.
like a wet cat.
But I like that he's we're kind of going to this thing as well where it's still like it keeps the intensity up, like because when I think it's like Lupin and Kingsley come down and Lupin is trying to make sure Harry's not an imposter. I mean, that stuff is really, really crazy intense. And then obviously who gets the hole in their ear? George
is
okay.
the one.
Yeah, I mean that stuff is pretty intense. I like the when Harry runs up to Ron and Hermione here and he kind of gives them a hug and just like it's great. You feel the stakes, at every moment throughout the film. It doesn't let up on that. And then I also like when we go back into then we kind of start to prep for this wedding, and then George got the hole in his ear. Oh yeah, because he says, "I'm holy Fred." That's right. Yeah. So it's right, and then, so
also it's just I remember because it's the one who spoiler alert, but the one who is alive at the end.
Right.
That's also how I remember. It's the one that's alive at the end.
Right. Yeah.
It's hurt first.
Yeah. I mean,
R.I.P. Fred Weasley.
Exactly. And I don't understand why he came walking downstairs with a toothbrush in his ear. I don't know if anybody else understood that. I mean, I guess it's funny, but like it was kind of an odd decision for the film. I don't think it was described that way in the book, was it, Sammy? When he came walking downstairs with a
No, I don't
toothbrush in
think
his ear.
so.
Really?
Was it a toothbrush?
It looks like a toothbrush.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, I don't think
The only
so.
thing that I thought when I saw it was the first thing that popped into my head was like when I was little, we had a cat that had to get surgery and they put a tube in its leg so that pus could drip out because it
Right.
had this leg wound. So that's where my head went. Like obviously first I'm like, why is he got something sticking out of his head?
Yeah.
But then my second thought was maybe it's for that. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know,
his wound
man.
is
If you
pussing
look
and
at
it's-
it, though, it's a toothbrush because when he does that, funny kind of awkward thing when he cuts in there and he's like, morning.
Morning.
I think that almost adds to the humor for me, the fact that he's standing there with like a toothbrush hanging out of his ear because it looks like a toothbrush, but whatever.
It's on brand. It's on brand.
It is on brand. I can't deny it. It's definitely
Yeah.
on brand. I'll give you that. Just kind of an odd little choice, but okay. And then they're pitching this tent. Yeah, of course, I'm just going to completely skip over the fact that Harry and Ginny are still kissing and all that. Who cares?
Yeah, we don't care.
But anyway, so they're pitching this tent, and this is a very big ass tent, by the way. I love it, but it's pretty fit for a wedding. I also like that, they move in and, or he not moving. I'm sorry, the guy who's the new minister of magic, who I forgot to mention at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So
yes, I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna bring it up that we missed a part at the beginning with
right
with him, and we also missed the part at I don't know, Voldemort's table is how I'm thinking of it when they're all, at the table.
Oh my
the new
God.
minister pops
How did
up,
we forget
all
that
I
scene?
think
Yeah.
about is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. Why is he in there? Oh, he's he's Bootstrap, right? Or is he David Jones? Which one is he?
Davy Jones.
He's
Yes,
Davy
Davy
Jones.
Jones.
That's him. That's right. Shit.
He sounds just like him in Harry Potter too.
Yeah. Was it Bill Nighy?
Yeah, Bill Nighy.
I don't
That's
know.
right.
Bill
It's
Nighy.
Bill Nighy. Right.
Yeah.
What am I thinking? I
It
know
is,
exactly
yeah.
who that is. Yes. So he goes because we were just talking about Bill Nighy for some reason, Sammy. I can't remember what we
I
were
know, I
just
don't remember
discussing.
either, but we were.
Yeah, either way, he's great.
But yeah, I've been thinking this whole time that we missed that scene. Wanted to come because I was like, we can't skip over
Yeah,
it.
well,
'cause
I mean, basically, he
love
comes in
that
there and
scene.
he's like, "It's dark times, no denying it," and I'm like, "Yeah, no fucking shit, I feel you." But we
Yeah.
go into this, the Voldemort stuff. I did want to touch on, so thank you for reminding me. I don't know why in my mind it started with the Harry, Ron, Hermione, like kind of like where they were switching between them and all that. But let's talk about the Voldemort.
I
thing.
think it does, and then the logo pops up, and then it goes to the Voldemort.
Then it goes to
stuff.
Voldemort. Okay, all right.
I
So I'm
think.
all miscombobulated here. I should have taken
Yeah.
notes again, but so anyway, so Voldemort.
This is one of the movies I've seen the most. Just so
It's
you know.
cool.
The Deathly Hallows, I think parts 1 and 2 are the ones I've seen the most.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, let's talk about that Voldemort thing because the Voldemort scene is incredible. The dialogue that's being exchanged here, being able to see, I believe this takes place at Malfoy Manor, right, Sammy? At the
I
beginning
believe
there, yes.
so. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. And that's pretty cool. Obviously we get a little bit of Snape there too, sitting with all the Death Eaters, and pretty great scene. I like the sort of nervousness that it seems like everybody has because this like Nagini is sitting like right down, at the next to them at the table essentially, and then
And
the
a
fact
woman
that
is
they-
being tortured.
Yeah.
There's a woman being tortured above them. There's screams coming
Yeah.
from behind the door.
Yeah, yeah. And Ray Fiennes, I mean, come on, he just knocks it out of the park in these scenes with Voldemort, and so yeah, it's interesting because we never gotten a scene like this in any of the films where we were just kind of like, except for 6 a little bit with that Snape, Bellatrix, and Narcissa scene. Here we're getting it with just all the Death Eaters, and just like Voldemort's there, and he's just kind of talking to them as he would, and we've never gotten anything like that. I like to call them the Imperial scenes, kind of like in Empire Strikes Back when we would get the transitions over to like Vader and what he's doing with the Empire. We never got that really in Harry Potter, so to have that here was actually, I really respected that. Adam, did you really enjoy the Voldemort dinner table scene or meeting scene in the beginning?
Oh yeah, I love it. It's super ominous. Everybody's like super on edge. Like Lucius Malfoy's like shaking in his boots. Like he's
Yeah.
obviously very distraught.
Yeah.
And yeah, he really does a good job acting in general in all of these movies. But like in this movie, like he's obviously very on edge, very kind of frightened, very threatened. So yeah, I
Right.
love this scene.
Right. No, I agree. And yeah, I mean, Sammy, did you have anything you wanted to add to that too?
No, I mean, I also just really loved, I love Draco in this scene as well. I
Oh
really
yeah.
liked
Yeah.
how they explore Draco in this movie, which is a
Yeah.
continuation from, Half-Blood Prince. So
Right.
I really like that. And the fact that it's, like it's his former teacher, one of Snape's, colleagues that's there being tortured, and
Yeah.
it just, makes it all hit closer to home. And Ray Fiennes, my
Yeah.
God. Like I worship at the altar of Ray Fiennes.
Yeah. Yeah. So all
Yeah.
right, back to the tent. So we're gonna go into this part where it's
To
so
the
blunt.
tent.
So we're gonna go into this thing. Where Bill Nighy's character, the new minister for magic, comes in, and he comes in with Dumbledore's will.
Yeah.
He sits down with Harry, Ron, Hermione, tells them what it is, kind of explains to them what they all got. This guy has no sympathy for anybody. This Bill Nighy character, though, he's a real dick. He's no better than Fudge. I mean, he doesn't care at all the fact
Yeah.
that Dumbledore left this sword to Harry. But so we are. Yeah, so we're watching, watching this. Really, it was a cool callback when we saw Ron obviously get the Deluminator. I like when he's like over like confident in the fact that he has heard the tales of Beetle the Bard when he's like babbity rabbity. Yeah, I really like that. And then we get the Harry's big moment, which is the snitch and the sword. Obviously, if you hadn't read the book yet, you have no idea what the purpose of him having the snitch is. If obviously it's going to come up and be important later. So that's a big thing. And basically I think from here we move into the wedding, and then at the wedding we get shit goes down. I mean, well, one of the first things I like is when he was talking to the gentleman about Dumbledore, and then the lady sits down next to Harry, and she's like, because he's talking to the guy who wrote this thing in the Prophet about Dumbledore, and then the lady sits down, and then she goes, "Oh yes, but you should have heard Rita Skeeter's article." And I'm like, we've met Rita Skeeter. Like, wouldn't we at this point like not trust him? But trust her, but Harry's listening to her. To that like it's gospel, which ended up working out later on. So really enjoyed that conversation, but then shit goes down when the big ball of the big glowing ball, what would you call that, Sammy? Do you know what it is?
It was like I think what it was actually, I think, okay, so in the books they talk about how the Order of the Phoenix would send messages through their Patronuses, that you could do
Okay.
that. You could like send a message along with your Patronus. So I think that's what that might have been.
Okay, all right. So
that's
either
what
way,
I've just kind of guessed it might have been, because it was a messaging device of some kind.
yeah. So it basically comes down. It's like
Yeah.
Minister of Magic is dead. You know what I mean? We're coming, and I like that the whole room just kind of goes nuts, and the guy that Harry was talking to is just like, nice meeting you, Mr. Potter, and he just like takes off. That was really funny.
Just operates.
Yeah. And then so then they're just like, I like that Harry's gonna go after Ginny, you know what I mean, and then Lupin just kind of holds him back. He's like, no, go, and then I love that Hermione takes them to this just normal London, right, like to the city, and she was just like, yeah, I think me and my parents have to, we used to go to the theater here, and like, don't know why I just thought of it. And like, it really shows that like, she's clearly got this, like how hard it was for her to basically erase her from her parents' memories, So that was a, really cool little thing. And, she clearly, I don't think she told Harry that, and Ron that she had to, go through that, but either way, we kind of find out about the bag, and I really like that. I thought it was a little funny little touch of levity when she was,
Oh my God, I love the bag. Are you kidding me? I don't know a woman alive who saw that and didn't say, "Oh my God, I love that bag."
I would pack
like for
everything all the
I pack
time.
everything. You're
Everything.
telling me I can pack everything, and it's just this little crossbody that weighs nothing, and I can
Animals.
pack everything. I can put animals in here.
Right. I mean, I really like that. It's just you know, you get this little moment when you just hear this like loud like thud in the bag, and she's like, "Oh, that'll be the books."
Oh,
And it's like,
books.
but yeah, that I thought that was
in the book. There's a really funny scene of where she's like trying to figure out what to pack.
yeah.
And they're like, Hermione, you cannot bring every single book that you own. And she's like, but what if we need like this random book of spells, or what if we need like this runes dictionary? And they're like, Hermione, we're not. It's fine.
Right. Exactly.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And then I enjoy, you know, they go and sit in a little coffee shop there, and then, you know, they obviously are confronted with a couple of, it's a couple Death Eaters here, right? Or is it they're not Death Eaters, they're,
I think those are Snatchers.
Snatchers, thank you, I couldn't think of the word. So they get confronted with a couple of Snatchers, you know, this whole shit goes down. It's like, this stuff's super intense, like, already. I love this. And then, you know, you get to, we calm it down a little bit when they're like, you know, we gotta, you know, get out of here, get off the streets, and, you know, they go to Grimmauld Place, and that's pretty cool. I really like seeing that again, and this little ghost that comes up or whatever that like comes after them, and she's like, yeah, man, I'm Moody, must have done that, or, and then Hermione casting that spell, and then she's like, okay, we're alone, which why that spell didn't detect creature or whatever, I don't know. Is that because he's a house elf that he's like immune to that spell? They never really explain that, but okay. It's not a huge deal. Either way, this scene was, you know, I loved being back at Grimmauld Place. I like the little moments of them just, you know, kind of hanging around sometimes, you know, they really show that they've been here for a long time, you know, so we do get some time jump. In the inner room here, we do get a little bit of what Voldemort's doing as well, or Harry kind of, you know, dreaming, sort of having these visions of everything that Voldemort's doing and all that, so that's pretty cool. I really like, you know, how they find it, you know, Ron finally stumbles upon the Regulus Artiolus Black. I thought that was cool as well. And then that solves the mystery of the RAB, which is awesome. And then they're like, which I forgot to mention this earlier about Mundungus, how he sold him out, which is why all that shit went down on the broom flying
What a
scene.
terrible name, by the way.
Mundungus, right?
No,
Wouldn't you hate to have that?
Mundungus.
Yeah.
Right, it's like Mandungus.
Mundungus.
Like,
My name is Mundungus.
like, yeah.
He looks like a Mundungus.
Right.
He does. He really does.
Yeah, for sure. So the other thing, I mean, I really like this is, you know, so they find out Creature's been spying on them, and then he's like, you know, go get Mundungus for me. And then I like, obviously, yeah, I think right around here is when we see the Snatchers looking around on the train for Harry, you know, so we get a little bit of the Hogwarts Express here, and I like Neville kind of standing up for himself. He's like, hey, losers, he isn't here, you know, so they, you know, they go about their merry way. And then I really enjoy the fact that, you know, we get Dobby back. You know, Creature returns with Mundungus. God, I can't say that without laughing now. So he returns with Mundungus.
With Mandingus.
Mandingo.
My Nantucket. I don't know.
Nantucket.
So yeah, Dobby's back. That's really awesome. It was really great to see Dobby. Is this, Sammy, do you know, is it the same voice actor for Dobby? Because it sounded just ever so slightly different. Do you know?
You know, I don't.
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head, I don't know.
All right. Yeah, I wish I wish I would have researched that, but either way.
I can look it up.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, so either way, it was great to see Dobby. You can tell the technology's gotten better since Chamber of Secrets. He looks a lot better in terms of that. And I really like some of the just the minor facial detail that they added to Dobby and stuff like that. But yeah, so we, you know, Mundungus says what was it? It was stolen from him, right? They find out it was Umbridge, right? That took the locket that they're looking for. And
it was Toby Jones both times.
Really?
In Chamber of Secrets and Deathly Hallows.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed. It sounds slightly different. Does
That
it
is
sound
what
slightly different to
the
you
internet's
guys?
telling me.
I don't know.
No, not really.
Okay,
Yeah, no, not really.
sounded very different to me. I don't.
say.
It could be that James Earl Jones thing. You know what I mean? Like, remember when James Earl Jones came back to Rogue
Can you
One? It's like
imagine?
ever so slightly different.
Can you imagine
Right.
James Earl Jones playing him?
Dobby.
I don't even want to try. I was gonna say Dobby is a free elf in that voice, but I don't even want to try.
You'd be like, whoa.
Dobby. not
go back to school,
Cool. Dobby is a free elf.
Yeah, that would have been funny. I mean, yeah, for sure. But you know, it's cool because now, well, I think the first thing that crosses all of our minds, right, is like, fuck, we got to go see Dolores Umbridge, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure that happened to all of us every time we watched this movie. Upon each consecutive viewing, I'm sure we all thought
it's
that
just
same
like,
thing.
oh no, yeah,
Right.
It's a big oh no.
Right. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, so I mean, to me, that's kind of one of the bummers about this. I mean, we hate being around her character, but I cannot discredit this actress for being so, you know, unlikable. You know, she's that unlikable.
Maud Staunton, absolutely.
Yeah, she's great at that. And so, you know, here we go. And by the way, I want to give the 3 actors who did the polyjuiced up versions of themselves credit. You know what I'm talking about? The 3, like, they did really good stuff here.
They were so good.
They were. Yeah.
You fully believe them.
Yeah.
I have never once doubted that was Harry Potter inside of that man's body.
I know.
Like, never once. That goes for all 3 of them.
You gotta really...
Why is it
like
that when they use polyjuice potions, their voices don't change into the person that they're doing? But like, you know, several movies back when, you know,
I had that same
dude
question.
was taking the polyjuice
Barty
to
Crouch
be Mad
Jr.
Eye.
Yeah.
His voice changed into Mad Eye.
That was a fucking spot on impression.
Nobody
He's
else
the only
does
one.
though.
It was a spot on impression.
Barty Crouch Jr. has a mean Mad Eye impression.
Yeah, I know. That's
Like-
exactly what I thought when I was watching it today. So thanks for bringing that up, Adam.
Because that's true. Every single other time they
Yeah.
keep their voice. Chamber of Secrets, their voices don't change.
It's just one of the many reasons Goblet of Fire is one of my least favorite of these. I mean, there's you know, it's kind of a problematic movie all around. But like, I don't know. That's one of them for sure. But you know, this they did polyjuice right. I mean, it really felt very good. Like you did, like you were saying, Sam, you always believe that, you know, it's them and their bodies. And so they all 3 actors did really good jobs doing this. And you know, I thought it was kind of funny when they were just like dragging bodies through the thing though. Like I was just like, oh shit. Like good thing they didn't get caught doing that. But either way, so they go down to the ministry, and Ron's humor in this movie is Ron's everything in this movie is top notch. By the way, like
immaculate.
Yeah, like they were like, I don't know. I felt like for some reason, like
this is Ron's movie. Honestly,
yeah,
this is Ron's movie,
and he looks
like,
a lot older in this one specifically too. He's looking
really
like
does.
he's getting some muscle on him.
Yeah,
he does. Has like some muscle. He's got like some stubble. Like it's like he
Right.
looks like an adult. Like you know.
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
He's been through some stuff.
For sure. And,
he's
you know,
ready to go.
The humor that he plays here, I mean, I like the wife thing, that whole thing that went down where he's like, yeah, my wife's downstairs. Ron,
like,
you don't
Ron,
have a wife.
you don't have a wife.
Oh, man. Yeah, all that stuff was super funny. And, you know, obviously, you know, this gets pretty intense. I mean, you know, once they get to the point where, I mean, Harry goes in there, right? And he opens up Umbridge's drawer and he sees all these, you know, that list, which is very devastating. I don't even want to talk about it. It pisses me off so much, but, you know, but when they finally do get downstairs and, you know, they go to get the locket. I mean, this scene gets really, really intense. I love when they're running through, you know, the ministry, and that slow-mo shot when like Ron is like, they're going up the fireplace and that
When they're
like,
all running.
Yeah, and that like snatcher, like it's not even a snatcher, I don't think, or maybe it is, but like I think it is.
Ministry guy.
It's a ministry guy.
Yeah, no, he is a snatcher.
He is a snatcher.
I believe, yeah.
You could probably be both at this point, right? You could probably work for the ministry and be the snatcher, and yeah,
right.
So,
the Death Eaters and snatchers are infiltrating the ministry.
Exactly.
That is known.
Exactly. So, I mean, so that shot though, when they're going up the fireplace, and the one just like grabs onto Ron last minute. The way the slow mo went, I was like, that is beautiful. That looked gorgeous. And then the apparition, and then they apparate into the middle of the woods, and Ron is all messed up, and I mean, it looks brutal. It's a
It's
brutal injury.
intense. This
Yeah.
part
It
was
is.
always so
It's
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, it's a brutal looking injury, very intense, and Hermione's kind of they all just did such a good job in this movie. Like Emma Watson with that sort of urgency, to get Harry to get the essence of Dittany right out of the bag, and then she has to put it on. He has to put it on Ron, and love that. And it was just you felt a sense of urgency, and then the next day I like how they do this, like, all right, you go, they're all trying to get the locket. I like this downtime, do you know what I mean? Like it's that kind these kind of moments that I love. It's like it breathes this movie, it's so great. And oh yeah, that the one joke I remembered, I forgot to say though, was about the tent and the bag. That was a good one too, when she was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's like, where am I
Like
gonna
the
find
tent.
the tent? And then he looks back, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, of course, the bag. Hermione putting up the protection things to border them as well was a really cool thing. What they did with the sound, I'm sure Adam noticed that, like what they did with the sound when she started putting up the protection spells, because her voice almost gets kind of like muffled behind
Like it's
it.
muffled,
Yeah,
right?
it's cool.
Yeah.
Really brilliant. I
really
mean,
cool.
I loved that.
Cinema, if you will.
Yes, it is. It's very
Some might
cinema.
call it cinema.
Very cinematic for sure. I really enjoyed that stuff. And I mean, Adam, we haven't really heard from you in a while. Did you have anything you wanted to add to all this, or?
No, not really. I really enjoyed the entire first part of the movie. For some reason, I always forget how like action packed and crucial the movie is until I watch it, and then I'm like, wow, this is moving. Like we're doing some really cool stuff. And then, like you said, I really like this part of the movie where we get downtime. We get some time for the movie to breathe, and I feel like this is a lot of people's least favorite part of the movie, and a lot of people's least favorite part of the series. I always hear people talk about how this movie is the boring one. And like when I'm watching it, I'm like, this is not the boring one. Like we've been talking about, like this is cinema. Like this is good cinema. This is quality stuff. Like we're really building the
Agreed.
story. We're really getting a chance not only for the movie to breathe, but for the story to build, and the intensity and the sense of urgency to build, and the stuff with the locket and the drama behind it. Like this is all really crucial. And this movie wouldn't be the same, and the next movie wouldn't be the same if we didn't get this downtime for this drama to build. So I quite enjoy this downtime.
Samee, I mean, what do you think of all this stuff? I mean, is there anything you wanted to add to this, or?
Oh, I mean, not much to add. Just I echo everything that's been said already. Again, I love the fact that there's downtime. I love that you really get to then just see the characters interact with each other. And again, but it's with really important stuff, because again, they're trying to destroy a Horcrux. That's very important information for the audience to know, that that's a difficult thing to do, and that's a struggle, and it adds to the whole plot. And that we have to go into the ministry, and we're seeing the real impact, like how everything that Harry's fighting for is going to have actual repercussions. Like there are actual people being oppressed by the ministry and by Voldemort that he needs to save, or else they will die. And like you really get the urgency of that, but it's all through really wonderful character moments between each other. And again, I love the comedy throughout. I also love when Harry and Hermione are in the elevator, and they're like, okay, if we don't find it Umbridge within the hour, I say we come back another day. And she's like, deal.
Yeah, that was
and then
good.
2 seconds later, Umbridge walks in. Like I love the way they exchanged that. That dialogue was incredible. The main thing is that I feel like I feel every single emotional beat in this movie, like so fully and completely, which is part of why I say, like, it's because that's what true good cinema and art does.
Yeah,
like it makes you feel everything that it wants you to feel totally and completely. And that's throughout this whole movie. I feel every single beat
Right. And
I feel every single one.
yeah, to Adam's point too, I mean, it's not the boring one. Like, because of what Samee was saying, you just feel it. You feel it through the character interactions, or you know what the stakes are. You know that there's this very dark thing just kind of hovering over this entire film, and it's just it's to me is part of what makes this so great. I mean, and I really just had a blast watching it today for those reasons. But I felt sucked in, you know what I mean? Like, I just really felt sucked into all of it. And I mean, just not a boring film at all, I mean, in my opinion. But all that said, I like these, like I said, the downtime is great. We get the moment, where Hermione goes out there and she sees I keep wanting to call them body snatchers, but I know that they're just snatchers.
Me too.
I don't know why. It's just, I keep wanting to call them body snatchers.
Try it in a British accent. Just be like, snatches.
Snatches. Snatches.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they see the snatchers.
There'll be body snatchers. There'll be body snatchers and then snatches.
Yeah.
No, that's the difference.
Snatches.
Yeah.
So she sees the snatchers.
There you go.
Snatchers.
There you go. Now you're getting it. Nice.
Oh yeah. All right. So then, that was a cool little moment, and then there's a lot of walking around going on here too. Like, a lot of it is just them kind of walking through, and what we're seeing is a lot of Ron and Hermione, or not Ron and Hermione, Harry and Hermione, getting closer, and Ron ain't liking that too much. I mean, for most of this, but. So there's a lot of that, obviously. I like the scene, where Ron's listening to the radio and Harry's kind of, it puts me on edge, and you kind of realize it shows that the Horcrux, it puts some pressure on you if you're the one holding it at the moment. And, so you had that going for it. And then, finally we're in the tent, and Hermione realizes, the sword, the basilisk venom can destroy one of these. You killed the diary with the sword, and Harry, I like that he's not understanding. Like, I thought that was really funny at first, the way he's just like, okay.
It takes him a second.
Yeah. And then I like his whole reaction when he finally, it clicks with, like, a light bulb goes on. He's like, you are brilliant, Hermione. Like, he's just and then only one problem, and Ron,
I'm sorry, I love Hermione's next line too. She's like, Harry's like, you're brilliant, Hermione. She's like, well, actually, I'm just very logically minded, which lets me see things that other people often miss.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, it's just, again, what I mean by just lovely, wonderful character moments that are just, you're just like, it's just so small, but it's just so perfect.
Yeah. And right around here, I mean, shit gets intense. I mean, Ron opens up the Deluminator. You see the lights just kind of go out, and he comes out. He's like, the sword is gone, and you're just like, oh shit. And then he him and Harry get in this big argument. They come at each other. It gets physical, which is like a big deal. We haven't really seen that before. We've seen them be mad at each other, but not like this. And the kind of tension that's going on here, I love. I mean, I love that, Ron's like, okay, how about you, Hermione? You coming with me? And, she has to make this choice. And just all three of the actors just did a great, phenomenal job in this moment. And I thought it was just a real tension-filled sort of argument. I don't know. Adam, what'd you think of that? I mean...
the stuff, really everything in this section of the movie with Ron is phenomenal. I was going to say, I love the radio stuff the most. That's like one of my favorite parts of this entire section, because it reminds me almost of like a post-apocalyptic movie.
Yeah.
Like, where like society is in like a nuclear fallout, and you're just listening for guidance from like the government or something, and you're just hearing about all the terrible things that are happening. And that's what it feels like. It feels very ominous, like when they're walking and the radio is playing, and you can see it in Ron's eyes, like something's going on. So the whole radio thing, I think, was a really cool thing to do. It was a really cool choice. And then obviously the argument between Ron and Harry is super good. Great acting. Ron has a fire in his eyes.
Yeah.
Everything from Ron in this movie is great.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
also, by the way, I'm trying to hook up my other headphones because these apparently weren't charging, so they're dying. So I'm kind of messing around on my computer right now. But
okay, all right. And Sammy, what did you think of all the the big argument and all that, and how'd that make you feel?
Oh man, I mean, absolutely. Like I said before, this is Ron's movie in a little way. This is
Right.
the most Ron. This is the most Rupert Grint I think has ever had to do, and he rises to the occasion.
Yeah, for sure.
Completely. It's just it again, like it this that scene always just hits me so hard because you've never really seen them fight that much, and you do see like the frustration of it, that where Harry's, like what, you thought we'd be in a 5-star hotel every day and be killing a Horcrux every other day, and Ronald's just like, no, but I thought there would be a plan, there would be a something, and so you're totally getting both sides of the argument, and so then it's frustrating to watch them just to leave like that, and then again to watch Hermione be in the middle of it it's again just such great storytelling. And again, like you said, the big thing is that I think this is acted so well. Like you get to really tell, like it's 3 actors who are very comfortable with each other and can just like act. They could do whatever with each other. It's just, and it really feels a little bit of, it's not the climactic peak of the movie, I would say, but it kind of feels like it. It's a very big milestone in this journey that I have nothing bad to say about it. I could just keep gushing for forever.
You know what part I always laugh really hard at that I always forget about? I don't know why I find it so funny. Is when when Harry and Hermione are having their little breakthrough moment, and all the lights go out, and Ron comes in, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm still here." And you can see it in Harry and Hermione's face, like
they're like,
"Okay, like,
okay,
what are you going on about?" Because everything that's happening is in his head, like they're not even realizing what's going on, so to him it's like a really big deal. So he comes in like guns blazing, like, yeah, I'm still here, like they've been plotting against him, and they're just like so confused, like, okay.
No, for sure. It's
a really good point. Yep.
No, like I said, when he comes walking in, I was like, oh shit, like he kind of scares you a little bit. He's like, Jesus Christ, man, what are you doing? But yeah.
Oh man, and I love that like Hermione's like giving Harry a haircut, and she's just like, oh wait, and Harry's like, what?
Yeah. Oh, that was good too. Yeah, that's a good little.
And he's rocking a mullet for like the next 20 minutes
for a while. Yeah. It's like we gave up. We gave up after that. We went to bed after that. We didn't finish.
So Ron apparates his way out of there, and the next day, I mean, Harry and Hermione are they're kind of continuing on, and you can see like Hermione's devastated by Ron's absence. I personally am not. I like all the stuff when it's just Harry and Hermione as well. Like, I think that is actually really great character stuff. Anytime it's just the two of them, it's actually really, really good. Almost like you can feel the chemistry between the two of them. You know what I mean?
It gives us false hope, man. I remember when I watched this movie, I'm thinking the whole time, like, maybe it'll happen. Like, come on, like they, especially in the part where they're dancing together, that is like the biggest freaking catfish ever. Like it looks like they're just like making such a connection, and they're having this incredible chemistry. It really looks like a moment, and I feel like everybody was in the theater like yes. And then they just whipped the rug out for Monday because it's never gonna happen.
But I mean, one of the more significant scenes in this, like Adam was just mentioning, is the dancing scene. I mean, it's great. It is great. I mean, again, it's like, these tiny character moments.
Compare it to when Harry and Ginny kiss each other early on.
Yeah.
Like,
the
dance that he has with Hermione has more chemistry than when he's making out with Ginny. Like, facts are facts.
I agree.
And it's like super nerdy, like they're just like going like this, like they don't know what they're doing. Like, it's super awkward, but it just like, I don't know, it's like amazing. They have this chemistry together. For some reason, when I'm watching that scene, and like many other scenes with just them two, you just like feel something like in their eyes, like when they're with each other.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just totally accidental. Maybe they should get married in real life. I don't know.
I just think it's beautiful, and regardless of how you look at it, I mean, if you know, I mean, these are two friends who are just like looking for any sense of normal in these very, you know, clearly dark moments in their life, and just thought it was a really, really great scene either way. And you know,
Yeah, that's the thing.
If only
Either way,
Ron
yeah.
was still there.
yeah,
Yeah,
What were you saying,
I'm
Sammy?
still
Ron was
here.
still there.
I can dance too.
I'm still here. I can dance too. I went to the Yule Ball, Hermione. You remember correctly.
Yeah.
But the thing is that either if you spin it as romantic, it works, and if you spin it as, you know, two friends
Right.
who are both really sad and
Still
need
a great
comfort,
scene.
it works as well.
Yeah, great scene either way, and it's wonderful to watch, and I like it. Almost feels like a scene unlike anything else we've had in a Harry Potter movie. You know, I think that it just feels the furthest away from a normal Harry Potter movie, but that's also kind of what I love about it. You know, and then, you know, finally they make the conclusion, hey, we got to go to what's Godric's Hollow, you know,
Godric's Hollow.
and you know, the Godric's Hollow stuff is great as well. I love the look of Godric's Hollow, by the way. Talk about cinematography at its best, because it looks phenomenal. I mean, the whole movie has great
The
cinematography.
snow,
It's a
like,
gorgeous
come
looking
on,
film
man.
throughout. Yeah, the snow, though, was great. You know, it's Christmas time. I love the feeling, the tone. You know, and Harry, you know, seeing his parents is great for the first time. It's very dramatic to see, obviously, and the way that Hermione goes up to him. Again, the movie's teasing us with these two, god damn it, but she goes up to him, she's like, Merry Christmas, Harry, you know, and you know, that was a great little moment. And you know, then they see Bathilda, right? Bathilda Backshot,
Oh, the back shot.
right?
Yep.
She's walking up.
Well, the outer shell of Bathilda back shot.
Correct. Yes, yes, obviously. So she goes, which is really fucking twisted when you think about it. It's just saying.
So it is.
But
Yeah.
you know, they see the outer shell of Bathilda Backshot. She comes walking up in the snow, and they're like, you know, they follow her. And then, you know,
She's what nightmares are made of.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
I was terrified when I saw this for the first time. I was just like waiting for like snakes to come out of her eye sockets or something. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my god, when she's like opening her mouth and the snake starts to, it's like, oh Jesus Christ, that was crazy. And you know, obviously the scene is incredibly intense, and then they end up, you know, having to apparate their asses out of there, and you know, they get back to the woods. By the way, little cool minor detail that's on all these scenes in the woods is when Hermione's tying stuff around the trees to kind of like mark their spot, you know, like this is where we were. That I always like that stuff, but anyway, excuse me. So then, you know, they after that, what we end up getting, you know, is this another great character interaction. You know, I like Hermione's, you know, like, let's just stay here, Harry, and, you know, grow old, and like they're kind of, they know that they're not gonna give up, but they're like on that verge. You know what I mean? It's like, what if we did? What if we did just, you know, stay here and grow old together? You know. Movies teasing us, but
always.
come on.
I
Make it
want
happen.
to see it.
Yeah, really.
I want
agree
to
with
see
you.
him
We want
build.
to see it.
I want to see him fall in love and build a log cabin and play checkers on their front porch. That's what we want.
That's what we want. That's what we deserve.
For real though, for real.
Yeah.
You know,
Also, I will say we've also just missed a little bit of that. There's been small introductions of the Deathly Hallows as well.
where?
We've just missed the little like spreading it out. Like it's in Tales of Beetle the Bard. It's on Luna's Dead Mr. Lovegood has it around his neck, and then they see it on the grave at
Oh, you mean
Godric's
just like
Hollow.
the symbol? Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, the symbol's like been.
Oh yeah, the
all
symbol.
over.
I meant the symbol.
Right,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
on the grave. That's right. Yes, you're right. Those are cool little Easter eggs. I'm glad that they put them in there. You know, just to, you know, kind of. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it really works out well in that sense. But, yeah. So you know, at this point, you know, Harry's kind of Oh, he finds out his wand broke too. That was the other big thing. You know, he's like, "Where's my wand, everybody?" And she shows him, and he's like, "All right, it's done. Just leave me your wand. I'll keep lookout." And then when he's keeping lookout, he sees
Also, that's a major death. That felt like a major death to me.
The death of
when
Harry's
wand
wand?
broke. So I was just like, exactly. It just felt, yeah, I felt so sad.
you know,
I
perhaps
felt like
but by the-
similarly to when I watched Hedwig die. Like it felt a little bit the same. You're just like, oh, but no, you've just always been here, and now
Yeah.
you're dead.
perhaps.
Yeah,
but
I didn't.
Go ahead.
I
Adam.
didn't mention that how distraught I was when Hedwig died at the
No, you
beginning of
didn't.
this movie. No, because
Yeah,
I freaking love Hedwig, and the snowy owl is one of my favorite birds of all time. They're like super cute. So yeah, seeing Hedwig die was just terrible. And then losing Harry's wand, like it's a big deal.
Yeah,
it is. It does. The wand chose him.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's broken.
I don't know if I felt that kind of attachment to the wand, just because like the wand was like this wooden like round thingy in the beginning, and then it just became a stick once Alfonso came in there.
But it's Harry's wooden round
Harry's,
thingy.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right.
Oh yeah.
Harry broke his wooden round thingy.
Round thingy.
It's a
Ron
tragedy.
did too. It's a tragedy. Ron did too.
Oh man.
I'd have broken them together.
They broke them together, boy. They were the boys.
Yes.
They wanted to match.
So when Harry was so he finds out the wands. So he's keeping watch. That's where we were at. He's keeping lookout, and then he sees the Patronus, obviously, goes, chasing after that. And then he sees the sword in the ice, and then he's looking down there. He's like, so he goes after the sword. And then
he sees the dough. The dough
is the Patronus, right? The Patronus, yeah. So, which is his mother's, right? So, I know who it actually is. I'm saying for this movie.
I was yeah.
It's supposed to leave that impression, right? So, so he goes and he follows it, and then so then he goes in the ice. That doesn't bode too well for him. He kind of gets stuck down there for a minute. Ron saves him, pulls him out. And Harry's like, all right, thanks for coming back. You got to, beat this Patronus now. Ron's like, oh, shit, I didn't know I was going to have to do that. But here we are. And then Harry's like, why'd you come back, if you're not going to help me out here? And so Ron takes it, and he destroys the Patronus. I like the what it does.
The Horcrux.
Patronus. Horcrux. Thank you.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, actually, it's called a Horcrux.
Horcrux.
It's called a Horcrux.
Yeah.
Even a fan, were you even watching?
Yeah, right, exactly. But I'm going to so it's the Horcrux that Ron has to destroy, and I like that the Horcrux kind of messes with him. I think that's pretty cool. And then Ron does
it doesn't want to be destroyed.
No,
I think it's the main thing that it puts up a fight because it's literally a part of Voldemort's soul. Like it does not want to die.
No, not at all. Puts up a big fight, and Ron, ends up, he gets it. It's a big moment. And they go back there, and Hermione's pissed at Ron, rightfully so. And I like as much as I love the Harry and Hermione scenes, like Ron does this whole speech, and I'm like, all right, Ron, you can stay. That was kind of fun. Thinking to myself, all right, Ron, you got it, because it was a good moment. It was a good scene. And then they're sitting down, and Hermione's still upset with them. Obviously, they're sitting down in the tent again, and they're talking about. He's like, keep saying that speech about the heart, or the light going through the heart. Maybe she'll keep you. Maybe she'll come around. And then I love the moment when he casts a spell on the little flame, and then it just it's like, what's going on in there? Nothing. Love that.
I always forget about that part, and I feel like it's way funnier than it should be, because I cackle every time it happens.
Oh, it's hilarious.
That got a huge laugh. I remember in seeing that when I saw it in the theater, that got a huge laugh at the theater, mine included. It's just so like teenage boys, hanging out in their room, trying not to get caught, but they have magic, so I love it. Love it.
Yeah, and I like Hermione comes in here. This part makes me laugh really hard every time. She comes into it, and she's like, "We're gonna go see Xenophilius Lovegood," and they explain why, because of the mark of the Deathly Hallows, and he had that necklace on, like Samee was saying at the wedding, and I love that because Ron comes in and he's like, "All right, I agree. All who vote in favor." It's hilarious because they're like,
she comes in and she's like, "Oh, we have to talk," and Ron's like, all right.
Yeah.
Then she just gets up and she's like, we're seeing Xenophilius Lovegood.
Yeah.
I just like how Ron steps over to her, and it's like so obvious that he's reaching so hard to get back on her good side. He's like, you know what? let's take a vote.
Yeah.
Like,
we should
it's
vote
like,
on it.
there's 3 of you. Do you need to take a vote? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
So after this they go to Xenophilius's house. Yeah, no, I agree, Adam. It's what makes it so funny. But they go to Xenophilius's house, or is that how you say it? Xenophilius?
Xenophilius. It's because with an X.
Yeah.
So like Xenophilius,
Yeah.
Xenophilius.
Oh, by the way, I did forget to mention how much I loved him at the wedding and everything, and like because it was
I
like
love him.
he's just as quirky as Luna, and I love that about
I
him.
love that little dance that him and Luna do. It's
Yeah,
like they go around
yeah.
in a circle like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love the
stand.
love goods. They're just so
Same.
great.
Yeah.
We love the love goods.
Yeah. I mean, this Love Good's ready to play a Lando Calrissian here, but love the Love Goods.
A little bit.
But
A lot of it, actually.
I love the house. When they get to the house, it's like they all go Luna. Like 'cause it's just so quirky, and they get up there. I do. I love Luna in this movie. I know I've given her shit in the past, but Luna in this film is great, like wonderful. And so is her dad. I mean, he's a really good character. Great added character. I mean, so they get up to the house, and what's that sign say? It even makes Ron laugh when he reads it.
Keep off of the dirigible plums.
Right, it's funny. Yeah, he even made Ron laugh in that moment. But they get into the house, and he makes them. He says they need his help. They want to know what that means, and he makes them some tea, and they're all sitting in this very tiny room. Like, I feel like they all even had to duck a little bit, just sitting there to eat their tea, because like the ceiling is like a little lower than you would think, but
it did.
It looks like a little attic, you know what I mean? But they're up there, and they're talking about he's like, have you heard the Tales of Beetle the Bard? He says Ron and Hermione both say yes, and then Harry says no. Then Hermione starts reading the story, and we learn about what it is. It's the 3 brothers, and basically, what they all possessed was, the Elder Wand, Cloak of Invisibility, which we know Harry has, and then the Resurrection Stone. Whoever possesses all 3 of them is what is it? The Master of Death? What is it again?
You become the Master of Death.
Master of Death, right?
It makes one the Master of Death. I think is the exact line.
Yeah. So, either way, it's a really cool. I love the little animation. I think it looks great. I really like when they transition over to that. I like Ron's little thing where 3 brothers walking around at twilight, and Ron goes midnight, and he's like, "Mom used to say midnight." She's like, "You want to read it?" And he's like, "No, go ahead. You're doing great."
Oh my god, her face too. If you look at her face, she is so just like, I hate you.
Yeah.
She's like, "Can you shut up, Ron, for 5 seconds?" It's so funny.
What were you saying, Adam?
Yeah, and he says, "Twilight's fine."
Oh,
better
actually.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's great.
Oh, God.
It's great.
Yeah.
So then we get, we learn what those are, and we know what the symbol means once he draws it out. I really enjoy that. And then, they're getting ready to go, and he's not going to let them leave. He's playing Orlando Calrissian. He's like, "All right, the Snatchers are coming. I set you guys up." They took Luna, he kind of reveals that, so he wants them there for that, and you kind of don't blame him though. It's like it's his daughter, so you kind of see where he's coming from in a lot of ways, and so from there, we get the this is another really intense scene where they're going at, the Snatchers are running after them. I really like how this is shot, the whole chase sequence. I thought that was it's done really, really well. It's so intense. And then we get the moments where, Hermione has to, mess up Harry's face. And then, the Snatchers get him. They take him over to Malfoy Manor. It is Malfoy Manor now. I'm thinking about it. And
at the end, it's Malfoy Manor.
Yeah. It was in the beginning
sure.
too, because they show the same opening, like the gate.
The gate,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they take him to Malfoy Manor. And Harry's face is messed up. I love the line for some reason when they sit him down and Bellatrix is like, "Get Draco." You're just like, oh shit, it just plays really intensely. And then they go and get Draco, and Draco, he says he can't tell, but we all know that he can. It is Harry. they all get locked up in the basement. I think they keep Hermione up there, if I'm not mistaken, right? So Hermione gets, kept up there.
Because of the sword.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So Hermione's kept up there, and then she's doing stuff to her. Hermione's screams are like gut wrenching. You know what I mean? Like when you hear her, like this stuff is intense as hell. I mean, when they're down locked in there, and you get this is who's in this room. I love this little reunion right here. You get Luna, you get Ollivander, you get the little goblin that took Harry to his vault the first time. So yeah, you gotta love all that. And then Ron and Harry are down there as well. And then, you find out that Dobby can apparate in and out of the room. I like the line, you could apparate in and out of this room. He's like, of course, I'm an elf. I like that. It's great. And then, who is it? Peter Pettigrew's here. He's kind of coming down. He brings up the goblin, and then I think Dobby is like, meet me at the top of the stairs in 10 or something like that. And they kind of both sneak, by the wall there, and he apparates Luna and Ollivander, thank you. And he apparates them out of the room. Ron kind of says, take him to, which we find out is Bill's house later on, wherever this place was. And he looks at Harry, he's like, trust me. Then they're kind of like hiding by the door. And then, Peter Pettigrew walks down. I like when he gets hit in the back and he's just, ow. I love that. Is the way he just goes down. Pretty funny. And then Dobby's like at the top of the stairs, and there he's like, who gets his wand? I love that. So then they go up the stairs, and then when they're up there, it's I mean, they're just kind of hiding out, waiting for their moment, and Hermione's getting blood carved into her, or it's already carved into her. She's got like a little blood dripping down there from that, and I love that. It's great. And we get the I love Ron's thing, the like hell, like that's a good moment, when he goes running and charging after him, and then this big showdown basically happens. Then they kind of hold Hermione hostage there for a second. Dobby up on the chandelier coming in clutch, just unscrewing that thing, goes down. Hermione's able to get away, and then they're on opposite sides, and I like Bellatrix says, you could have killed me, as if that wasn't the goal,
right?
Yeah.
So
Dobby doesn't mean to kill, only to maim or seriously injure.
I know Dobby is amazing in this movie. He's amazing.
Dobby really comes in clutch in this movie.
He does.
Is like a far cry from how I saw him like early in the series, because he really annoyed me early in the series.
Yeah.
And then when he pops into this movie, he comes in so clutch. Like he not only does he help save him, but he brings a lot of comedic relief. Like in that, because it's a moment full of tension, and you just randomly hear.
Yeah, it's great. If I was Harry, I'd have been like, where the fuck have you been, every other year that I've been in school? Like, seriously, because he really just he's great. And then
he's in the books more, to be fair.
He is in the books more, that is correct. But he didn't help out much in the books up until now, but either way. So anyway, so he comes into so he apparates them out, Bellatrix throws the knife, goes in. I could barely talk about this scene because it's just too damn sad. They're at the beach and, Dobby's dead, It's like, this scene is so incredibly sad. And when Harry's holding them and, oh my gosh. And Dobby's little thing about he's happy he's with friends, and Dobby's so happy to be with friends, and Luna walks up to him and he's like, we should close his eyes. It's like, oh my god, all this stuff is just so sad. It's so sad. And Harry's, I want to bury him properly. By golly, like, Jesus, this movie is so filled with emotions. And they
this is where I remember that I did go to the premiere. Now that I'm thinking about it, I remember because I remember I was towards the front, and it was a full theater. We could only get in towards the front, and I remember people were like nearly sobbing when Dobby died. Like that, It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Like I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah,
it was so emotional.
It was sad, man. It was a big deal. It was a really sad moment. I mean, this is one of the saddest moments in all of Harry Potter. But here we are, and it sucks, and so they go to bury him, and that's basically where it fades out. And then here at the end, we get the little Voldemort, kind of capper on all this, where Voldemort goes, he breaks out a very good looking dead Dumbledore from the tomb, and then he takes his wife. It's true, like, I don't know how he looks so good still. He's like he's preserved.
Easy,
It's been
Dom.
like
He's
a few
dead.
months. Yeah. It's been a couple of months.
Few months. It's like he died.
It's been like 8 months, maybe. He died at the end of the school year, and this is like Christmas time. So between probably like May and
the way that we stuff bodies, though, we
January.
make it like impossible for him to decompose. So he
Right.
probably would look pretty good.
Yeah.
True.
Plus, I'm sure that tomb was like magic or something, right? To
Oh,
keep him
100
kind of
was
preserved,
100%
right? Because,
magic.
like, I mean, look at that
Yeah,
tomb.
it had to be.
It's this big, white, glorious looking thing. But,
It's like on a hill. It's like
Yeah.
its own little thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
yeah. So he gets the Elder Wand, and I mean, I love this ending. It just kind of does the spell up in the air. But yeah, that's the end of the movie. I mean, what do you guys got to add to that? I'll start with Adam here.
Okay.
Man. Yeah, the ending of this movie is just, I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect because it ends on a very, very serious note that makes you hungry for the next one, because like, oh crap, like this is a big deal. And then it just ends, and you're like, you have to know what's next. And then the next one just picks right up where we left off, and I love the ending of this movie, especially with Dobby dying and then burying him. It's not only does it leave you on a very, very emotional note, but it leaves you on a note where you're almost feeling a little helpless, because you know that Voldemort just got the Elder Wand, and that's a big deal. So there's all sorts of emotions going through your head at this point in time. Yeah, terrific ending.
Sammy, what do you think of the ending?
Oh man, yeah, I completely echo everything you said. I remember leaving the theater and just being like, knowing what was gonna happen, but feeling like that hype of just like, well, what happens next? Like, you like can't believe, like, it leaves you in such a state of you can't believe what's going on, and yet you must understand everything that's going on, and you have to know now. Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. I do want to go back to a couple things though before I forget.
Sure.
That we didn't talk about. One, I love the animation for the tale of the three brothers. That is absolutely stunning. I get chills every time that scene starts. I think it's one of the most beautifully done ways they ever could have done that.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
And then I also really love, I love that. And then I also really love when they're running away from the Snatchers. One, I love that there's no music. I love that it's just kind of like, their breath and the sound of running and leaves. I think that's beautiful. I love how funny it is. I love the moment when they ask what their names are, and Harry's just like, Dudley, Vernon Dudley.
Yeah.
Like, instantly, didn't even have to think twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. And then also I loved the stuff with Draco in Malfoy Manor.
Yeah.
I really love that stuff, because for me, I'm like, he knows it's Harry. He totally knows it's Harry. Like, what, Ron and Hermione are just hanging out with some other random dude in the middle of the forest running away. Like, he knows it's Harry. But, and so to like, for me watching it, and me thinking that he has to know that it's Harry, it's such a good character moment, because, while he's trying to please his family and be a Death Eater, that it's on the inside, he's the kid who could not kill Dumbledore himself, and he's just scared, and like, and he's not gonna rat them out this time, because he knows, like, if I rat them out, like, they will die. This is life or death. Like, Voldemort can be here in seconds if we want them to be. Like, this is not the time. This is beyond like a school bully moment. Like, he understands that they will die in that moment.
We see a lot of really human moments from Draco in these final movies. Like, between him not really being able to kill Dumbledore, and then like at the beginning of this movie when he sees this is a teacher that he had in school, when she's hovering over the table, and you can see it in his eyes, like he knows what's about to happen. And then at the end of the movie, like you said, there's no way he doesn't know that that's Harry, but he's not really giving it up. So I really like all that stuff, because Draco has always been a character that obviously gets under your skin.
Yeah.
He's really annoying, and that's what he's supposed
Yeah.
to do. And you almost see a little glimmer of redemption in his character arc here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, continue.
No, for sure.
Oh yeah, no, totally to all of that. My only other last thing is I do also really like that moment after they're running from the Snatchers, right after Hermione hits Harry with that spell, that he has that vision of Voldemort going to see Grindelwald.
Yeah.
In Azkaban. I just think that was always really cool. Like I just, again, as somebody who's like fascinated with every single part of the backstory, that I really appreciated that even for like a sliver, like a 2-minute thing, we got to see a little bit of Grindelwald, and that Voldemort, was in contact with him. Because I think that's important to know. That's for, people who read the books, you do wonder, you're like, there was another big baddie that Voldemort could have gotten advice to. Yeah. Why didn't he? But to see that he, knew where he was and could contact him, I really like that, which then again leads into the fantastic ending with it's a holy shit moment. It really is. That you're like, he broke into his grave, stole that, and it's like it's go time basically. Yeah. It ends and you're like, big dogs, it's go time now.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, they do kind of just like roll over the Grindelwald stuff in this, let's be real. I mean, they don't really just touch on it, like, but still it's there. It's appreciated that it's there at all.
If you know,
yeah, if you know, 100%. But hey guys, that'll do it for this review. Thank you for joining. Next week it's going to be the final one. I can't believe it. Gonna be great. Can't wait to get to it, to be honest with you. I almost wanted to just put it on today, and I'm like, nah, I better wait till next week. So I
thought about it too. I honestly thought about
it. Hard to wait.
It is hard to wait.
It's very it really is. Yeah. You just want to watch it.
Especially like I was gonna say, I love that this movie doesn't have any of like the professors or any Hogwarts in it, because when it's hard to not watch the second one, because when you get to it, especially when we had to wait for the second one to come out, and when you see Hogwarts and you see the professors again, you're like,
right, when you get them back, it's
I haven't seen them in forever.
Yeah, it's like a prize when you get them back, because they kind of took them away from us for a little bit, but it's really cool.
And it means
go ahead,
it means
Samee.
that much more when you finally do get back to Hogwarts in part 2. It just means that much more that you're at Hogwarts again, that you had time away, but now we're back. For these final moments.
I mean, I'm sure next week's review is going to be a little bit more brief, just because I think the next movie is like only about an hour 45, which is like,
I think it's the shortest.
It's the shortest one for sure. Yeah. Very short film, but anyway,
and it flies.
It does. It flies. It really does. Like it's just.
And yet there's so much they cut out from the book, at least. I can go on.
Yeah, but think about it this way. I mean, there would have been a lot more cut had they not split this in 2 parts, you know what I mean? So
for sure.
So they did a really great job. I think it was a really great decision for them to do that. But to go back off Adam's point, I mean, part of the reason this movie feels so fresh is because there is no Hogwarts. Fresh is a really good word for this one, because it is so different, and I love that about it. But anyway, guys, that'll be it for today. Thank you for joining again. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications. Samee, before we go here today, where can people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me over on Instagram. I am at Samee Ramirez 14, and then I'm also on Twitter and Stereo at Samee Ramirez. So come hang out over there. Right
on, and check her out everywhere that she is. And Adam, before we go, where can people find you?
You can find me at The Red Eclectic on every platform: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. Check me out.
All right, guys, you can find me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_, and on Instagram, Dom_Martino_official. Make sure you follow both of the channels' social medias on Twitter at AnoraxOfficial and on Instagram, AnoraxOfficial. And we just put up our first TikTok, so you can go follow us there at Anorax. So there you go. Check us out. Probably we'll upload a couple more here at some point, so we'll see what happens. But guys, thank you so much for joining. It's been a lot of fun. Can't wait to get to the next one. It's going to be a sad day, but a great day at the same time. So thank you guys again. We'll see you guys later. Have a good one.